And we're live. Welcome everyone. How's it going? I hope everyone is having a wonderful Saturday. A little bit late with this live stream, but if you've never seen any of these live streams, my setup's slightly changed and slightly different. So I like to start with kind of introducing what it's all about, and if I know I have like regular people coming in usually, but just to kind of do the formalities and say how these work. So I basically talk for a little bit now, and I usually have like a subject that I talk about on my live streams. But today I'm just going to be playing songs. I'm just going to be kind of messing around musically a little bit. We'll see, and obviously answering questions. That's a big part of it. And so just, if you have any questions regarding what I talk about on my channel, not regarding anything, obviously you can ask me anything, but there's not much that I know about apart from the stuff that I talk about on my YouTube videos. Then please feel free to ask. And fill up that do you call it a chat box? I don't know. Fill up that comment section, with questions and comments and stuff like this. I'm just going to take a sip of water. I need to oil my chair. I've got one of these really, really old, like, it's not even good. It's like, I think I just found it on the street, my chair. I know it's been repaired like loads of times, and I should just buy a new one. Okay, anyway, I'll grab my guitar. So if you've been watching any of the live streams, then you'll see that I used to have like a different angle, and now I'm hoping that the quality is good. Let me know that you can hear me. I see that I'm my volume is going up and down, so it should be able to hear me okay, and I can obviously hear myself. But I used to have like a webcam, and I'm always playing with different setups, but which is obviously quite practical and quite easy to use. Now I'm using an actual camera, and obviously it's a little bit more tricky, especially with guitar. Because I like to have a good shot, I like to have a good angle. I like to be able to see the whole guitar, and not be too high up. I find if I have a camera like above my screen, my computer screen, it's a bit more of a you're looking down on me kind of view, and I much prefer this, that you can kind of see everything that goes on with the guitar and everything I'm doing, So as you can see, my desk is here. So I usually have my screen is like right here on a right angle compared to the camera. And but I have one of these monitors that is able to like move. It's on an arm. So my monitor I get it as close as I can to the camera, but I don't know, maybe I need some kind of different setup where I can have kind of look at the comments here, just underneath the camera, So I'm not like constantly, so you see me like looking away here, so I'm looking at the screen right now. And obviously, I don't know, let me know if it's a bit looks a bit disconcerting that I'm not looking at the camera directly when I'm talking, So when I'm answering comments, I might be looking over there, but I don't know. It's a live stream, so I don't think it matters too much. And this chair is going to annoy me, this sound, if it's constantly going to make... I think it should be fine. Anyway, I'm just going to stop talking, and I'm going to play. So I am experimenting a little bit with... just need to make sure everything's on, coming through. So I got the pedals today. I'm using the pickup, and kind of been experimenting with delay, which is interesting. with my delay pedal, and kind of I'm trying to think of different ways that I can use delay in other than like the obvious, you know, there's the very obvious something like this, I don't know, you know, where you're using the rhythm, you know. That was quite cool actually. See, I don't mind when it's like, when the feedback is not going on for too long like that, you know, that's okay. I should experiment with stuff like that. But I always find if I'm, you need to play within the rhythm of this, right? You need to play within that tempo. Otherwise, it's just going to kind of sound messy. And I find that always kind of limits me in terms of tempo, and I don't like to be limited tempo-wise. I like to be very free and fluid and be able to kind of do what I want. So I feel it locks me in a bit too much, but I don't know. I've been experimenting a bit, and like the way I have things set up. By the way, I'm not looking at the comment section just yet, so keep the comments coming and the questions. I'll look at it in a second. I'm just got to talk about this for 1 second. So I have for those that don't know, a stereo setup that I've basically have my signal coming out, my pickup signal, and then it's going to a preamp, and then it's basically doubling. So I'm doubling the signal, and one signal is just going through like preamp, EQ, and reverb. That's it. That's what you're hearing now, right? And then the second signal is going through what I call like the wet, well, like a bit more kind of, you know, this sort of sound. I can actually, hold on. Let me mute the normal signal. So yeah, all you hear now, apart from the microphone, obviously that's picking up a little bit, but is these sort of effects, you know. I can with obviously the delay is in there, and then I've got a reverb after that. But the cool thing about doing things this way is that I have a volume pedal controlling the kind of more extreme effects, right? So I can turn them on and off when I want and bring them in and out when I want. So one thing I'm able to do is with the delay, if I kind of just bring the feedback right up, like as full as the feedback will go, I'll just put on the other one. Yeah, there we go. Then I can kind of create almost like it's a loop pedal in a way, but I'm not there like stomping on things. I never like, even though that's what pedals are designed for, right? I never enjoy stomping on pedals. Also, it's a horrible sound, and when you're using microphones and not just pickups, you know, you pick up that sound, and I don't like it. So this way, when using just a volume pedal, I can sort of bring in and out these kind of more extreme effects as and when I want, you know, in a very more kind of in a subtle way. So I can do something like this, let's say. And because I brought the feedback up to full, you know, it'll just keep on playing. But I can just play over that and it won't keep repeating what I play, you know, so I could do something like this. something like this was, it could be quite cool and quite interesting to, just to kind of experiment with something like that. But anyway, that's something that I'm playing around with at the moment and just, just trying out. I'm going to play in a song in a second. Let me just have a look at things, how things are doing. Let's have a look at the chat. I'll open the chat just now. Boom, boom. Oh, we got loads of people coming in. Hey, everyone. What is that? I always get your name or the thing that you name that you have. You know what I should do? I should have something I've been wanting to do. Every time I answer a question, I want it to come up on the screen. That's something I'm trying to do. I'll try and get that for next time, so I can just click on a comment or a question and it will come up on the screen so everyone can kind of see it, rather than me struggling to read it. G's12 said, I came, I saw, I conked out. Have a good live stream, Fabian. I love that. Okay. Yeah, so he's obviously too tired. I get it. I don't know how long I'll be going on for, to be honest. It's been a nice but long day. It's been lovely weather here in Berlin. Hence the late arrival to the live stream. It's been a bit of a late one. Hey Dale, how's it going? Dale says from Huntington Beach, California. I'm a regular person. Yeah, absolutely, Dale. Good to see you again. Good volume. Great. Thanks for letting me know. Many vibes as usual. How's it going? Many vibes. Camera angle and sound is good as is. Thanks. Yeah, so it's not, I guess it's not too kind of disconcerting that I'm not looking at the camera always to kind of look at your comments and stuff. I don't know, we'll see. Pedals are addictive. Yeah, absolutely. I try not to get too many, It's very addictive, but I love it. It's really fun. It forces us to slow down. Don says, good evening, everyone. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Sorry. Yeah, no worries, Don. Hey, Don. Boom, boom. What do we got? Dale says, when I busk, I use my 1957 Gibson Les Paul Jr. and my Yamaha THR5 with tremolo and reverb and my old Yamaha battery-powered speaker. Yamaha did a battery-powered speaker? How old is that? I don't know if I've ever seen one before. That must be very old. Be interested to see that. Have you got a model number for that, Dale, at all? 1957 Gibson Les Paul Jr. sounds lovely. I actually had a Les Paul. I can't remember what year it was now. It was one of these, I can't remember, it was either like a honey burst or it might have been one of these tobacco bursts, these ones. Really, really nice color. It was like, maybe it was like 19, I don't know, maybe it was 1970s, maybe. Something like this. It was really nice. I sold it, unfortunately, but I should have just kept it. Guitars like this, you should just always keep. I just needed the money, It's one of these things. But, when you're young, you're like, oh, I'll just, I can get another one. And then, I don't know, maybe I will one day. But yeah, I've always, when I did play electrics, I always played Les Pauls. I always preferred Les Pauls to like Strats or any other. I just feel, I like the weight and the feel of them. It's just really nice, and the tone with the humbuckers. 1957 sounds great. Very nice, very very nice. All right, I'll do a song now, and then keep the comments and the chats coming. I'm going to do a song. It's a traditional song called Banks of the D. It was on my first album. And maybe I'll try this like kind of loop thing. I don't know. Just try it, see how it goes. And then luckily, I've got my pedals actually on a stool, so I can kind of access them. So I can, I don't have to just use my feet to control them. It makes it a bit more a bit easier, Yeah. Anyway, this is Banks of the D. What I'll do, put a bit of reverb on as well on the vocals. Here we go. Forget the lyrics. Hold on. Last Saturday night by the banks of the Dee, I met an old man under stress I could see, and I sat down beside him, and to me he did say, oh, I can't get employment for me hair, it's turned grey.
last Wednesday night to the reckoning I went to the coronery office. I went straight for her next. I got me wage packet and I was walking her way when they gave us me notice for me hair it's turned grey. Oh, I am an old miner, aged 56. If I could get lots, why'd I raffle me pigs? I'd raffle them and I'd sell them, and I'd haul them away. But I can't get employment for me hair, it's turned grey.
That was Banks of the D. Yeah, it's an interesting one. You know, using pedals, not using pedals. It's this chair again. Sometimes it squeaks, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I'm really into pedals. I really enjoy them. And sometimes I just want to just use one microphone and that's it, and nothing else, no pickup, anything else. So usually I record with no pedals at all, But I don't know. Recently, I've been kind of exploring recording and having the pickup in a different signal, so I can adjust it later. That can also be an interesting way to get different sounds as well. Does anybody else explore with when you record? Anybody else record with their pickup as well? Just out of interest, because it's it's just something that can explore. Many vibes. It's haunting. Yeah, I think that's kind of the vibe I'm going for sure. Thanks so much. Dale says, beautiful sounding, thank you. G's 12, I'm back. Memorizing tune. Mesmerizing tune. Thanks so much. Hey Nick, how's it going? Nick Worley's here. Good to have you at the live stream. It's like an old folk song from the UK. It's like a mining song, Banks of the Dee, from around the north of the UK. Just kind of exploring at the moment, really exploring things, mainly the pedals. I think it was one of you mentioned that you last time when we talked about pedals. Is it Gige 12? Gige 12? Am I saying that right? I think Gige 12. I think you mentioned it last time. You use like a delay for, or maybe it was a comment on one of my YouTube channel videos. You use like a delay as to thicken the sound, huh? I thought that was a really kind of interesting approach because I'd never really looked at it like that. And having like a really short delay time and a really short kind of feedback as well. And that can sound interesting. I'll just give you an idea on how that sounds. I'll do a really short delay time. So I've got the delay on right now. I don't know if you can even hear it. There. And have it on really short, obviously. And then obviously that's the feedback is too much because it's getting, and just bring that back. And then I'll take it off. And then with on. I don't know if I can notice any difference actually, but maybe I need to record it and then listen back. Yeah, short slapback delay sounds. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I need to have it like the delay time a bit longer. I mean, that's just, I'll turn off the reverb so I can actually hear. Maybe I need to make it. Would it be like this short? Is that too much? I guess it doesn't as long as it doesn't interfere with what you're playing, it will just kind of sound like a short like reverb, huh? It's pronounced Jij. Jij. Or do you pronounce the J like a J, or is the J pronounced like a Y, like here in Germany? I do apologize to everyone. Like, my pronunciations of names in general is really bad. You know, and also I have to read it, and I am actually dyslexic. I'm diagnosed dyslexic, so it's really hard for me to read anyway. But shorter. Okay. Yeah, so it's like I almost can't hear it. You know, and I'll bring the feedback up. Obviously, no, that's not going to work. I think it does give it a thicker sound. So this is with it off. This is with it on. J. Loj. Yoi. I don't know, maybe that confused me even more. Hold on, there's a few, I need to read a few things. Don says, oh no, something, only 2 minutes? A whole theme for a whole stream would be an idea. Oh, triads, yeah, absolutely. That was one of the... That was a live stream request, huh? Absolutely. I'll do that soon. Maybe I'll do that next time, because now I'm come back from Easter, and I need to think of live stream ideas, and a few people have actually submitted a few ideas. If you go on my website, then there's an actual form you can submit. But yeah, I remember that's something that people talked about, is triads. I mean, you know, I don't actually like to go too deep into theory and this sort of thing, but it is something that is definitely useful, and it's something that I definitely use, you know, when I'm playing. But I think about things less in terms of chords, and more in terms of like bass lines and maybe intervals and melodies, you know, this kind of thing. But definitely, triads are a great thing to talk about. Maybe I'll try and combine it rather than just talk about triads. I can kind of combine it with something else, you know, that I'm thinking about doing as well at the same time, you know. In general, I want to be doing more kind of guitar related sort of techniques. I want to be doing more of these sort of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that will be something for either next week. I can come up with that for next week, or within the next sort of 2 to 4 weeks for sure. Yeah, I remember that. That was a request as well. And some other people have had a few requests, so it's just great, you know, because I struggle with trying to come up with ideas. Yeah, exactly. I think maybe he forgot. I did remember. I did have it in the back of my head for sure. It's just what I do is I trying to come up with like 4 different ideas at a time, and so for the next 4 weeks it was like already planned, and now I'm trying to think of new ones. So this is a good mention. Exactly, yeah. So we can, I mean, I can talk about it a little bit, yeah. Uh, doing like, I put the bass in other locations. Um, so I do like, if you're gonna do a, let's say a C, we've got C, E, and G, you know, and then you choose this sort of, you'd take, rather than putting the root, which is the C, in the bass, you'd take another note and then put that in the bass, you know, like the third, putting the third in the bass is really nice. So I'd find another E, so it'd be here, and it completely changes the chord, the triad, you know, the sound. And then you can kind of choose the G, try and put the G in the bass, so it'd be like here, you know. That sounds really nice. So it's a bit tricky because I'm in Dadgad here, but if I was in a standard tuning, a lot of people put the G in the bass when playing a C chord, you know, this sort of shape. Maybe you can see that sort of, you know, that sort of shape. And this, in standard tuning, this one here, I need to hide my face, then this is in focus. This would be a G in standard tuning. Does that make sense? That's a really nice chord, you know. That's sort of an example of like putting different notes in the bass. You know, and you can do it with other chords. You don't have to do it with just triads, you know. But yeah, I don't, you know, I don't like to go too heavy into kind of theory stuff. But just in this situation, knowing what the notes are, like in C there, if you just know, just start with triads. If you know, okay, the root is the C, the third is the E, and then the fifth is the G. Right? Just knowing those three on each chord, you know, would really help you. And I say a lot of the time, you don't even need to know necessarily the names of the notes, you know. We can all kind of hear this. Dun, dun, dun. It's all, I think it's kind of naturally within us, these root 3 and 5, especially these ones, you know. You can kind of find them, you know. Without even knowing that it's a 3 and a 5, you know, you can kind of hear them, kind of thing. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, sorry. J like joy. Okay, J like joy. Yeah. All right. So, so like Jij. Is that right? Hopefully that's right. Roland Music Cube. Microcube. Roland Microcube. Not Yamaha. Yeah. I was thinking Yamaha. Did Yamaha do a... Yeah, those Roland Microcubes sound great. You know what I used to have when I was busking? I used to have an AER, portable AER amp. Has anyone tried AER amps here? They sound amazing. Tommy Emmanuel plays an AER amp, acoustic amp. They sound really nice. And it's actually, I've been looking at amps actually again. I haven't used an amp for a while. But using an amp on stage it's just really nice, and it's so much nicer than just using monitors. If you just have your own amp and you can use that as your own monitor just for your guitar, which is lovely. But I had a portable one, so I can't remember now. I don't think it took batteries. I think it had its own battery, and I had to charge it. And it took a while to charge, and it was super heavy. It was ridiculously heavy. It wasn't the most practical thing in the world, but you know, to have that lovely sound, I think it was 40 or 60 watts. So I think it might have been 60 actually, maybe. I can't remember now. It's a while ago. But does anybody use acoustic amps here at all as well, just out of interest? Because there's a few companies now that do acoustic amps. I've been looking into this recently. But yeah, I had the Rolands are great as well. They sound really nice. But the AER was just on a whole nother level. And I do miss that. Many Vibes says, did you paint Easter eggs? Yeah, we did actually. It's something we do here in Germany. Does anybody else paint Easter eggs? It's not really something we do in the UK, I've noticed. Don't think we do it. So we paint here in Germany. We paint eggs, you know, like chicken's eggs, you know, and you paint them colors and just kind of make them. You boil them first. This is the thing, you know. You don't paint them before you boil them. You boil them and then you paint them, and then you can eat them or just not. But yeah, it's really nice. Many Vibes says, one of the techniques I'm curious about is slide. Yeah, that's another thing. That was another one as well. I mean, I don't do too much slide. I do a lot of like lap slide stuff with a resonator. I have like, I got it here. Ugh, things are falling down. This thing here is a bottleneck slide. It's a really nice one. I'll take my capo off for this. And I haven't really done much bottleneck at all, like in the past, I don't know, 10 years. So my bottleneck playing is really rough. And basically the technique is you're just kind of, you know, if you don't know much about slide, then the technique is using this, it basically replaces the fret. It does the same thing that the fret is doing, but it's obviously movable, so that gives it a more kind of vocal sound, you know, something you can do with a vocal. Have that vibrato and slide between notes. Obviously nice. It kind of works in DADGAD, but you know, it's nice to have it in a tuning that is an actual chord. And I don't know if it's nice to have your action a little bit higher, so you're not constantly kind of hammering on the fretboard all the time. But sure, yeah, I can talk about it, you know, and especially playing it on your lap is, you know, it's pretty much the same thing, just slightly different, obviously, techniques, because I'll be using a steel bar, but similar kind of approach. But yeah, absolutely, that's another thing that I can talk about for sure. A movable fret, yeah. It's basically what it is, you know. Let me just go on some of the other comments here. Yeah. How do you find a key of a song? Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to do. Why is key of G your favorite key? Did you see the latest video on that? So I talk about that in my latest YouTube video, and I did a little short on it as well. Don says, I think G is easy to find its pattern, at least for me, but I'm not professional to say this. Yeah, it's, there's something about that G shape. As I say, I'm in Dadgad here, so I'm not in standard tuning, but it's easy to find kind of notes when you're in that shape. It's all to do with the fingering, basically. It's not really about being in that in terms of pitch, being in that pitch of G, it's just more about the position of the fingers when I'm playing that chord, because obviously I can put a capo on and play it in many different keys, so it's not about the pitch, it's just about the shape and the fingering, I call it, of when you're playing in that key. Especially if you're composing or improvising, especially improvising, it's really, really nice. And it's nice also just having, when the bass note is a bit higher up and it's not the lowest note. That's why it's, when you're playing open tunings, it is really nice to have this sort of low, like if I was playing in the key of D here, it's nice to have that low, bass note, because I'm in D, but I can't go lower than that. If I want to put another bass note, I have to go higher. But if I was playing in the key of G, I can go lower. It's just nice to have that option, I think. That's one of the reasons I love to play in G. But yeah, great ideas. There's some really nice ideas here. So there was slide. I'm just making note of these so I don't forget them, because come tomorrow or come Monday, I'm going to be thinking about the next couple of weeks and coming up to like live streams and stuff like this. So slide, and there's the triads. Please feel free if you have any other topics you want to talk about, anything. And it was finding the key, finding key of song. And some of these, they don't necessarily have to be all just one whole live stream. I could kind of combine these topics with similar stuff that I'm already thinking about. Finding a key of a song, and key of G is always one to look at. All right, and please feel free to, like I said, to make any comments if you want some to talk about on the future live streams. Jidge says AER is too expensive for us mere mortals. Yeah, I know they're quite expensive, aren't they? I think also their prices have gone up. I remember I bought a few years ago now. I actually went on Denmark Street in London to buy my first AER amp, and I remember it was like 500, I think, I spent on it, brand new, on Denmark Street, for their Alpha. That's the basic, the first model, 40 watts. I don't know what price it is now. That was some years ago now. Many vibes. I love any reason to paint. I'm not. Is that something from earlier? Have you ever played Slide with an actual bottle? Yeah, I just did it. I guess that was, you said that question before I showed you. It's Jij says I have Marshall AS50R Ashdown. I had an Ashdown. They're pretty good. AA50R Ibanez T80N. Quartz AG60, but I usually use a Fender Deluxe 85 red knob solid state. That sounds lovely. Fender Deluxe. Do you use these with acoustic guitar then, Jij? I think you remember you saying that you do use them with acoustic. I'm gonna play another song, guys, before it gets too late, and I've only played one song. Need to have a look at my set list now. I recently recorded a video of me doing this song. It's called Cold Tea. It's from my my latest album. Need to put a bit of reverb on that. This is another one that is in G, the key of G, so I can kind of have space to move down in the bass. All right, I put a bit of the old reverb on. Here we go. Tea's gone cold and my feet are froze in this house, and gas spill rose to my feet. I'm far too old to take this cold. The winter is near. That was Cold Tea, and hold on, computer's going all funny. All right, yeah, it's another live stream we're doing today. Welcome if you just joined us. We're just kind of talking about various different stuff. I've been talking about the pedals that I'm using, experimenting with today, and various different topics for future live streams. We have a lot of regulars in at the moment, and so if you just joined us, then that's what we've been talking about. Hope everyone's doing good. Let's have a look at the chat. Many Vibe says painting with words. Now I get it. All right, I get it. I was like, painting? What was the first full song you learnt to play? I think it was Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. It was the very first song I learned to play, full song. And what a song. It's a great one. Yeah. It's really good. I mean, before that, you know, I was having lessons, and I mean, that's what I count as a full song. You know, I was doing like bits and pieces of mainly classical stuff. But yeah, that was the kind of the full song. And it's the first song that really got me, you know. It got me, you know. With everything about it, I just loved. I was like, yeah, this is really good. Yeah. It was my dad that got me onto that. My dad was my first, the person that really gave me all the good music to listen to and the inspiration, you know. Yeah, yes, amps with acoustic, yeah. Do you just use amps, electric amps with acoustic, or do you use the acoustic sound as well, just out of interest? Because I've been thinking about experimenting with this because I have two different sounds, of having like the acoustic sound going into either the PA or maybe an acoustic amp, and then having the more sort of ambient sort of pedal sound actually just going into an electric guitar amp, you know, and having the two different sounds could be quite interesting, you know. So yeah, and it can actually sound quite nice using an electric amp with an acoustic guitar. It sounds like it wouldn't work, but it actually can work in some situations. Hey there, we've got a new person coming in. I'm gonna try and pronounce that name. It is Akant. I'm so bad. I apologize. I'm just butchering names left, right, and center here. I'm gonna give it one more go. Akakayant. I can't even apologize. Says, can you play Something in the Way? Don't know who that's by. Never heard it before. But no, sorry. I don't do many covers. I do a lot of my own songs. And the sort of the covers that I do are mainly really old folk songs or blues songs. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you're new to the channel. I don't know. And the live streams. I don't know if I've seen you before, but welcome. You're definitely welcome here. But no, I don't really do many what would you call it? Yeah, covers in that way. But welcome. Are you a guitarist? Are you a musician? Or just someone that enjoys music? Let us know. Let everyone know. I'm gonna have to go back a little bit. Hold on. On the chat. Because I always forget how to pronounce your name. Sorry, Jij. I always have to go back on that. But Jij says, let me find it. The Ibanez Troubadour T80N is the best of the real acoustic amps. How do you mean by that? The real acoustic amps. The Ibanez Troubadour. Is that an old one? Because I see these sometimes these really old acoustic amps, I've never tried any, but they look really cool. As well as all these really old, these old style acoustic pickups. The sort of ones that you see back in the 70s and stuff, where it was basically looked exactly like, it looked like they took an electric guitar pickup, and they just kind of taped it on to an acoustic guitar. I mean, they might have sounded really bad, but it looked like they might sound really cool at the same time. I don't know. Is it that in that sort of vibe, in that sort of genre, or that sort of date, the Ibanez Troubadour? I have to look that one up. The Ibanez Troubadour. Let me just make a note of that, because otherwise I'm going to forget it. And I'll check it tomorrow. Cool name for an acoustic amp. Yeah, it is a cool name. So do you have that then? Do you have one of them? Oh, many vibes. You're in North America. Don, yeah, you're in Switzerland, huh? Nick is in Galway in Ireland. There's guitars from Ireland. From I can't remember where exactly the factory was when it was made in Northern Ireland. maybe County Down, I think, possibly. I appreciate that, Many Vibes. Yeah, the sound is always so perfect on the streams. Thank you so much. I'll just get through these, some of these comments or questions. If you have any question, make sure you put, question mark after it, so I can see. Don says, do you know which string gauge you use? Yeah, I use EJ17 D'Addario Phosphor Bronze gauge, medium gauge. It's like 13 to 56 gauge strings. I find they work for me, you know. I tried heavy gauge once, and it was just too much. It was too much tension. They sounded lovely, but no, they were just too thick. And then, yes, 12s are just too light for me. I think I'm quite happy with mediums. Many Vibes says, classical, do you have a composer you recommend? I don't really listen to much classical music, to be honest. My other half listens to a lot more than me. She would definitely be able to recommend some classical composers. But you know, the great old ones are always good. All the German ones were great. You know, Johnny Be Good is not so easy, and quick changes on the fretboard. Yeah, absolutely. It's all this. I'm in Dadgad here. I'm not gonna be able to do it. No, I can't do it. It doesn't work. But yeah, it's for sure. It's not that easy. I can't remember how old I was when I learned it. I was like, I don't know, 8 or something like this. But it was good fun to play it. I don't know if I played it exactly, you know, perfectly. Definitely not perfectly, but I don't know if I played it. Probably wasn't the same at the same speed as Chuck Berry, but definitely didn't have the same moves as Chuck Berry. Although it's very impressive to an 8-year-old. Very cool. Let me see here. Okay. Jidge says T80N Troubadour for pure acoustic. Fender with pedals. That's exactly that's kind of what I've been thinking about, basically. That must have a nice, interesting sound, with the two different amps. Nice. I'll check out that Troubadour tomorrow. Just looking for questions before I play another song. Dun, dun, dun. The live stream will be over before I have time to list all my pedals. Yeah, you could just put it down in the comments or something, you know, for people watching, because I realized that a lot of people re-watch the live streams as well. Yeah, this ain't no request channel. Yeah. I don't really do requests. I mean, I can, you know, I can try. I'm sure I'll be able to give it a good go. Play it in my own way, you know. But yeah, I definitely do more kind of teaching and this kind of stuff, and than requests, you know. I've never been one of these musicians that can just play lots of covers, stick with covers. Although I enjoy, when I do play a cover, it's nice and I enjoy it, but a cover just inspires me to write or play my own song, That's what I really want to be doing, is playing my own songs. And if I learn a cover, I just like, this sounds really good, but it inspires me to write my own song, and so I don't know. Many Vibes says the songwriting tips for composing original ideas are always welcome. Yeah, the songwriting as well, is something I definitely want to look into more as well. It's all, and the stuff that I teach. I've been teaching guitar for so long, but a lot of it is to kids, and it's very different stuff to what I'm talking about here. So it gives me a lot of information and feedback how when I create both my YouTube videos and the live streams, what everyone is interested in, how it helps people, and this sort of stuff. So all this information is really good. It's really useful for me, to use. I'll answer a few more questions, then I'll do one more song, because it's getting late here. It's 10:30, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my body. It's like, I'm getting tired. Songwriting. Yeah. Nick says, I've just learnt now. Westlin Wins, the guy called Chris Brain version. Chris Brain, is that right? Version is a dadgad. I think you would like it. Oh, nice. What's that called? Westlin Wins. I'll check that out. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. Many Vibes says, do you ever get into the Delta blues? Yeah, for sure. Like this Delta, all the Mississippi stuff, was a huge influence to me, and still is. A lot of these musicians, some of the really early ones, it's really amazing to listen to these recordings, even though they're the technology, just wasn't there to capture the recordings in terms of the quality that we have now, but you can still, it doesn't matter, I still love listening to these records, and you can hear the musicianship and the amazing way that they brought the songs to life in the recordings, absolutely. All right, we got a few more people just coming in. Hey everyone, good to see you. Yeah, it's getting a bit late, so I'm gonna do one more song, and then I'll answer. What I'll do, one more song, and then I'll answer a few more questions, and then I'll call it a day. And don't worry, everyone. I've written down all these ideas for future live streams. So I'll fit these in to future live streams. There's one thing I want to talk about before I do my last song. I'm going to be introducing something pretty soon, either next week or the week after. Because I know if any of you saw my 2024 video of like things are going to change. So I'm going to introduce, I want to be doing some one-on-one coaching. And this is something that that you can basically go through on my website. Let me get my website up 1 second. But I wanna do some research first. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select. There's a thing on my website, or there's gonna be. I'm gonna release this pretty soon. Just keep an eye out, especially if you're signed up to my mailing list. Then I'm gonna let everyone there know. So if you're not signed up to the mailing list, then please make sure you are. And you can do this. I'll share my screen. Will this work? Yeah, this still works, right? Here we go. That's my website right there. Sign up. Here you go. Sign up for free. You just click on that, and that'll take you to here, and then you can sign up there. And you know, you just need your name and your email for that, and that's completely free, and that'll sign you up to the community and to my email list. But I'm basically I need to do research, and I kind of need everyone's help for this. And I'm going to be talking about this a lot more. I'm just talking about this spontaneously right now, but I'm going to basically choose 10 people, so you can be able to submit if you feel like you want some coaching. I'm going to choose 10 people, and you're going to have like a highly reduced coaching session from me. It'll probably be like an hour session at a really cheap rate. It's basically so I'm just covering my costs basically, and this. But in return, I ask for your feedback, and it's going to be like a way that I can both help you with anything that you're struggling with, guitar-wise, songwriting, recording, anything like this, and I'm gonna use that and try and use that as kind of research and feedback for myself as well, and I'm sure it would highly benefit you guys as well. So as I say, it's make sure you're signed up to the community, to the mailing list, if you want your chance to be chosen for that. And it's probably going to be like a first come first serve sort of thing. So yeah, I'll be letting my community, my mailing list know first. There's a link in the description down below. Many5 says, what are you researching? Well, it's just more for researching how I can help you. I want to get better. If I know my audience better, then I can help them. I can help you more, basically. So this is the research of basically. I just want to get better at helping people with teaching and with coaching, because this is something I want to start up a bit more. Is this kind of one-on-one coaching sessions. And yeah, so this is a way that I can kind of, if any of you are interested in that, you can get a session for a very cheap price. So I will play a song now. I'm getting super tired, but here we go. This is called The River. Make sure everyone, if you have any questions, then make sure you drop them in now, because this is the last song, and then I'll be heading to bed probably. Here we go.
She's a drunk, a middle-aged mom. She had children when she was too young. Now it's something you might be surprised. 3 different kids from 3 different guys. She spends her time drinking away, drinking special brew every day. How did she end up this way? People walking past would say, down by the river you may find nothing but tit and tat. Here at the river we all are just a bunch of He's a loner, he's a nomad, a young boater that used to have plans. Now what he has is a very long beard, keeping him awake, hold his tears. He has one friend in all the world, his old dog with a hungry cause. He never sees the light of day, just waiting for time to pass away. Down by the river you may find nothing but tit and tat. Here at the river we all are just a bunch of He's a dad, he's a nice guy, a young father that doesn't know why he can't see his poor little son, because all these things this kid's mother has done. He has no money, no job, he'd do anything to earn a few bob. You look at him and you may judge that all he feels for his son is down by the river you may find nothing but tit and tat. Here at the river
that was the river. And yeah, I did some improvising there at the end. So experimenting with my pedals a little bit. It's good fun. It's good fun. So let's have a look at some of the comments, just to see if we got any more questions. Yeah, many vibes. Yeah, folks will need some equipment to do that. Assume interface, and mic, and headphones. Yes, not necessarily. I mean, you can kind of, it will just be on Zoom, you know, and all you kind of need is, you can do it with a phone, you know. I mean, if you can, whatever you're watching on me on now, you know, would probably do, to be honest, you know, as long as I can see you and hear you, you know, and you got a fairly good internet connection, you know, then that'll be sufficient enough. If you have some way of like either a phone or something, so I can see, because if we're doing like, you know, guitar techniques, obviously I would need to be able to see your guitar and stuff like that, you know. But it depends on what you feel like you might need help on and stuff. But yeah. Andrew Mark says, I noticed that folk isn't as popular anymore as it used to be. Why is that? Yeah, I mean, it's always had some kind of popularity within the folk community. You know, but it's, I don't know, it's it goes through stages of becoming part of the mainstream, you know, part of kind of pop music, being influenced by pop music, you know, when certain bands and groups are interested in that and doing that more, then other people play it more, you know. But yeah, I mean, within like the folk community, it's always been of interest, you know, obviously. But I don't know, you know, it's always comes in and out, you know. It's a bit like a lot of different sounds, you know, come in and out of popularity. I don't know if you watch Rick Beato. He talks about this a lot, of like, he does these things which I really enjoy, of he listens to the top 10 pop songs, you know, and then he listens to it for the first time on the video. I don't know if he does it in a live stream. No, he does it just as a video. That's really interesting, you know. That's usually how I hear what's popular, by his videos, you know. I would never do that myself. Maybe I should, I don't know, but I find it quite interesting and amusing, you know, me listening to it with him also listening to it and stuff. But yeah. Appreciate that. Many vibes. Appreciate that. Andrew Mark says, how do you record your songs? How long have we got? I mean, I've done lots of videos on this, but many different ways. There's lots of different ways. Sometimes I just like to use one microphone, but it's mainly, my main focus is guitar and vocals at the same time. This is something that I feel, for me at least, and I think probably for most people who play and sing at the same time, it's a more natural way of doing things, and what I like to call is performance-based recording. So the performance comes first, you know, over any sort of production quality or anything like that. You know, the performance is the most important thing when when you're a singer and a songwriter and a guitarist, and that I guess goes for any instrument. But there's something about playing an instrument and singing at the same time, and of just those two things together, and playing your song as a performance, that it requires just recording at the same time, and it requires a great performance. I think you can hear that in a song, whereas if it's a song that has been every tiny little vocal piece or every little guitar phrase has been chopped up, what a lot of, especially pop music, if you look at a digital audio workstation of a pop song, it's lots of tiny little cuts, lots of these pieces, and each one of these pieces is a take, that they've done. And so they basically take the best takes or the most perfect sounding takes, and then they mush them all together to make this song, right? And it's and there's, not saying that that's can't be a great way to make a great song. There's lots of great pop songs that have been produced that way, but I just feel for my music and for a lot of other music, it's doesn't have the most. It's not great for the most natural sounding and for the most for the best performance. And I prefer just performing, to getting a really great performance, even if there's mistakes in there. It doesn't matter, as long as the performance is there and it's capturing this moment in time, this really this essence. Then there's something magical in that, and that's what I like to capture when I record. So I've done videos talking about this, and this is what I try and do when I record. Hope that answers the question. I appreciate that, Nick. Thanks so much. Hold on, let me just answer the question. Interesting effect this time, yeah. I had actually had a distortion pedal on that time. Just a little bit of distortion. It actually acts like almost a volume boost in a way as well. Andrew says, "Did you teach yourself how to play?" Yes and no. So I learned classical guitar when I was 7, and then I quickly moved to I was playing electric guitar, and as a teenager I was playing grunge stuff, and I went through everything, and then by the time I was actually 19, 20, I went back to acoustic. So I'd been playing electric for many years. Many of my teen years I played electric guitar, and then I went back to acoustic when I was 19, 20, and then I actually lived in the middle of nowhere, just because my parents moved from the UK. They moved to Italy, in Abruzzo, which is in the mountains, which is just a beautiful place in the middle of nowhere. And then I had the choice I could either stay in the UK. I was working in a music shop at the time, and I'd finished. I went to I studied guitar at college, but that didn't go too well. And then I was working in the music shop, and then so I basically had the choice of staying or go with them. And obviously, I went with them on this adventure to Italy, but it was in the middle of nowhere, and I didn't speak Italian, and I was quite a shy kid, and 1920, you're still a kid, really, and I just kind of I brought all my music equipment with me, and I just went back to acoustic because it just felt right, and I didn't didn't really have much of a social life. So for the next like 4 years, I was playing nothing but acoustic every day, and I basically re-taught myself guitar. And yeah, so it was a steel string, and I was doing slide guitar as well, and listening to a lot of music. There's something about like isolating yourself, and that really gets you creative, but gets you focused. And I still believe, like, if you really want to get something done, then you got to kind of isolate yourself. And I think that's a great way if you want to finish an album, or if you want to write something, write a book, you just completely isolate yourself, like physically, go to a cabin in the middle of nowhere in the forest, for a week. You'll get it done, and no social media, nothing, just just completely in the elements, So anyway, that was my long-winded way saying, no, I wasn't completely self-taught from start, but I kind of re-taught myself. So that's a lot of the techniques that you see that I'm using now. I kind of taught myself that. No one really taught me how to do that, in this way, at least. Zoom and cellular data can get wiggly. Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, it'll be, we'll have to just try and see, I mean, these ones, at least these first ones that I'm offering, they're really important to be able for me to kind of do the best I can, to get all the information that I can, but also to help you as much as I can as well at the same time. So if in a situation where maybe we're doing a Zoom session and it just cuts out or just doesn't work, then we'll just reschedule, so don't worry too much about that. Wi-Fi definitely would be great. Just seeing if there's any questions. Is it mahogany guitar? Yes, it's a mahogany guitar. It's not all mahogany. It's back and sides mahogany and cedar top. I love cedar tops. I did a video on a cedar top once. They have like it's a softwood, and it has like a really nice resonance to it. But because it's softwood, it gets damaged really easily. How do you transcribe your ideas? Do you mean like how do I write them down? Well, the lyrics I just write down on paper. But in terms of musical, I don't tend not to write it down too much. I I'll just record it on my phone a lot of the time, or whatever I have available. I'll just kind of make a recording of the riff. Usually it starts with like a simple riff, like this one, the river. I don't know if it started with that. Usually it starts with like the main part of the song, which this one is probably like the chorus. So it's like, yeah. So I would kind of come up with that, and then usually just like record it on my phone, and then kind of come back to it. But I very rarely actually write the music down on paper. I'm rubbish with lyrics. I forget lyrics all the time. But with melodies and music, I have no problem remembering them, It's just like this muscle memory that just comes back, Even if I've just played it a few times, I'll remember, I might write like capo, 5th fret or whatever it is, and I might write the key that it's in, but apart from that, I generally tend to remember. I mean, I make recordings as well. That's really important. And as I'm going, because I'm playing it so much, I just remember it. But Andrew says, do you listen to Elliott Smith or Nick Drake? Here's some of that in your music. Yeah, definitely Nick Drake. Definitely Nick Drake. I haven't listened to Nick Drake in a little while, but yeah, definitely in the earlier years was listening to Nick Drake. Yeah, Nick Drake had some really cool, some really interesting tunings and some really interesting techniques as well. I think he had like a kind of a flicking technique as well that he did, maybe. Yeah, he's definitely an influence for sure. I didn't change my strings for 5 years because of him. Yeah. I'm lying. I hardly ever played for 5 years. When I did, I love the sound. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, I actually really like the sound of new strings. Not completely new strings, but I like the sound and feel of new strings. But there is definitely something to be said for like old strings and that kind of dead sound. Fabian, it's past your bedtime. Thanks for a great live stream. Have a good night. It is. Thanks for the reminder. It is past my bedtime. It's 11 o'clock here. So I need to hit the sack, guys, because I can hear my voice going as well. When I talk for too long. All right. Thanks everyone so much. And hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Have a lovely Saturday and a lovely Sunday. As I said, we're doing this. I try and do this every Saturday. So come and join us. We built a really nice little community here. So I really appreciate everyone coming along to these live streams. And if you're not signed up to the mailing list, the community, then just click the link in below. Click the link in the description below. It's free, and I send out emails, and I send out like little vlogs and little lessons and stuff like this, and sort of subjects about the coming live streams and stuff like this. And I'll talk about those coaching sessions that I'll be offering as we're going along here in the next couple of weeks. So thank you everyone so much. I appreciate you all, and I will definitely take note of these subjects that everyone's talked about, and the ones that everyone's submitted on the website as well. I'll implement them in future live streams. Yeah, so there we go. Thank you so much, and have a great one, and I will see you all next Saturday. Bye bye.